Hi guys, it's Shrack. Welcome back. Today I'm going to be playing some Elite Dangerous. I'm going to show you how to start up the game, kind of review it a little bit here. I've actually never played. I will be going through that process with you. You have to create an account with Frontier. Once you do that, you'll be put into the launcher. Once you're in the launcher, you can kind of tweak a few settings. Down at the bottom left corner, just hit play, and that'll eventually bring you to here. You can automatically have it set to detect what your graphics card can handle. I did that, and then I went into graphics anyway, and I had to change a bunch of stuff. So if you want to do that, if you want to keep changing stuff, first thing, go to display, make sure it's at the resolution of your monitor if you want it full screen. Select full screen. Sometimes it didn't do this for me, it didn't automatically detect the correct resolution. I'm playing on a 144 hertz monitor, so I'm gonna set the refresh rate there. I'm also gonna limit the refresh rate because I don't need it. I don't need to burn extra processing power. It's going to cap at 144, which is currently what I'm getting. We'll see what I get in game. I might adjust it. Otherwise, it set everything at high. For quality, because I have 144 hertz, I turn off blur, but everything else I pretty much left untouched. Generally, I like to start as high as I can and dial it back as needed. So, I mean, if you're running on a 60 hertz monitor, set it to 60 hertz. You don't need more than that, and you can cap your frame rate at 60 hertz. Like I said, I'm playing on a 144 hertz monitor, so I'm going to limit it to 144 hertz. I am recording at 60 frames. You unfortunately can't see it at 144 hertz. Also in audio, I haven't fully understood all this. There's optimized for normal and DTS headphones. It doesn't make a difference for my headset. I'm not really sure what full range is. It says here for playing loudly in big speakers. Boost is increased volume, normal's suitable for all things. I guess nighttime, it makes the things you need to hear stand out so that it's not blasting you with engine noise or something, so you can play quieter. That's kind of my guess, but like I said, I haven't played the game yet. I have mine at normal and surround sound's disabled. And then you go to controls. Now I haven't looked at this yet. Oh boy, let's see what's thrust. Q and E, R and F goes up. All right, so what, forward and backwards not automatically assigned? I gotta assign that? Seriously? So, okay, so what is W and S automatically set to? So like I said, I'm kind of going through this for the first time. Actually, this is for the first time. Flight throttle, okay, W and S. I guess X cuts throttle. You can change that, you can set it if you want. All right, well there's a lot of this stuff. I'm not gonna bore you with all that, and I'm just gonna jump right in. So back to main menu. And then you click start. Let's see what happens. Like I said, it's the first time I've played. So at this point, this game is about 5 years old. It should be pretty refined. Might be a little on the old side. All right.
Welcome to Mawson Dock. Make yourself comfortable while we finish some preliminary ship checks.
So I kind of like it. It's kind of a rusty feel.
And I'll be running your Pilots Federation evaluation. Most pilots assigned to me earn their license, so as long as you follow my instructions, you'll be a commander in no time. Oh, and before you ask, I may sound like an Imperial, but I'm actually from an independent system.
What?
Today we'll be covering the basics of flight control, combat, and frameshift drive use. This Sidewinder has been installed with a specialized computer that'll take control at certain points. Mostly you'll follow a series of objectives to guide your actions. These are shown in the info panel at the top right of the head-up display. Okay, you're good to go. Select auto launch from the options ahead of you when you're ready.
Initial impression is I kind of like the futuristic yet rusty feel. You know, it's this kind of bare metal, bare bones feel, yet it's futuristic, and also the graphics, these little pop-up screens, they're just yellow scale. It's kind of like an old 90s green computer monitor, but it's yellow and it's kind of futuristic. Kind of like it. It's almost steampunk, which is pretty cool. I guess W and S changes this since it took away my mouse control. So I'm going to hit auto launch and let's see, enter. Nope, that's chat. Space. Okay, it's space.
The beauty of auto launch is that you can relax and enjoy the view. One of the ways that technology allows us to appreciate the good things in life. Other applicants are departing for their own evaluations, but this isn't a race. Each of the coming stages can be completed at your own pace.
So I suppose we're starting in a station, floating in orbit around some object. That is what it looks like. We're at Saturn, some Saturn-like planet with rings.
Remarkable, isn't it? For so long, humanity gazed up at the stars in wonder. We're not distracted by one of Earth's many wars. And now, we glide between them without a second thought. Ah, here we are. Your first task is to demonstrate basic ship movements. A ship's trajectory is primarily controlled by pitch, yaw, and roll. Perform each of these now. Good. Now increase your throttle to accelerate forwards.
Okay, I don't like that. So initially, look up, look down. But then you don't rotate when it's left or right. It I guess it rotates about the axis of the ship. What would you call that? The XYZ axis? If X is straight
Review your current objective and complete the required action to
It's
continue.
yelling at me. If X is in line with the ship's heading, Y is perpendicular to that along the horizon, and then Z is vertical through the ship. You would expect this to rotate about the Z axis, but it's rotating about the X axis, so that's weird. I don't know how to actually turn. D, okay, A and D, and that's very slow. Might actually change that. So I need to throttle up. W to set your throttle forwards. Do I need to go full throttle? Okay.
Decrease the throttle to resume a stationary position. Your throttle can also be pulled back from 0 to engage reverse thrust. As before, push the throttle in the opposite direction to cease moving.
Okay.
Inputs confirmed. Looks like you've got the hang of individual controls. Let's see if you can put them all together. Your next task is to guide your ship through a series of checks. Head towards the course, following the target indicator. The course weaves through an orbital structure and is designed for the novice pilot.
Okay, I gotta fix this setting. Okay, this is driving me nuts. Yaw roll button, nope. Okay, here we go. So, mouse x-axis, yaw. Okay, I swear it's rolling rather than yawing. So, Q. Oh, why, what is the point in that? So slow. Alright, well there's the base that I just came out of. Okay, we're gonna just fly through here, I guess.
Fly through the center of the first checkpoint. You'll notice that they change color as you fly through them. And we're off. There's no time limit, so maintain a comfortable speed while you familiarize yourself with the controls.
Can't go any faster. Ah, that is terrible.
Rolling and pitching together is the most efficient way of turning rapidly.
Okay. You got some limits on how fast you can turn. Going too fast, just like in a car. Can't make the corner.
And speed of your approach. See the blue marker beside the throttle gauge? This indicates the optimum turning speed. Approaching a particularly sharp turn, so I advise slowing down to prevent any mishaps.
Okay, I've slowed down. Thank you. The sound is actually really pretty decent in this game. That's what I immediately notice here. Just how good the sound sounds.
Greatly increases your speed, but use it wisely. That's the last checkpoint. The Sidewinder is an agile craft, and you handled it well. A new icon has appeared on the sensor display in the center of your dashboard. This represents a nearby beacon, which you'll soon scan as part of your evaluation. Target the beacon before we continue.
To target, I press T.
You're going to use your ship's data link scanner to analyze the beacon, but you need to deploy hardpoints first.
I'm sorry, what? To deploy hardpoints, press U.
Good.
Those are hardpoints.
Most
Okay.
external modules are installed on hardpoints, including weapons. Control is back with you. The beacon is relatively small, so you'll need to position yourself close to it.
Why are the guns shaking? I'm not even moving.
Watch your speed here. We intend to scan the object, not become one with it. You can scan the beacon now. Well done. The data link scanner is a versatile tool that connects with network interfaces and various data points. You need to move to another area of this star system to continue your assessment, pilot. Rather than travel for the next year using your thrusters, you can employ the ship's frameshift drive to increase your speed by a few orders of magnitude. First, ensure that the ship is correctly secured. Your landing gear, cargo scoop, and hardpoints must all be retracted. When you're ready, throttle up and engage Super Cruise.
Frameshift drive charging. Ready to engage. 3, 2, 1, engage.
All readouts look good. You're now accelerating towards a velocity comparative to the speed of light, measured in C. Supercruise is used to navigate within a star system, allowing you to cover significant distances in minutes. Usually you'll retain control in Supercruise, but on this occasion your ship's computer is following a preset path. This is a good time to familiarize yourself with a couple of the cockpit panels available to you. In the top left of your HUD is the comms panel, which displays pilot communications and contacts across several channels. The top right is your info panel. Entries here mostly relate to your ship's status, computer messages, and events happening around you. Ah, there we go. Welcome to Lightspeed.
It's not what I imagined Lightspeed would look like.
Watch the distance and speed markers on the dashboard. These are used to help you accurately disengage at your destination. Your next lesson will introduce the basics of combat. Several static and mobile targets will be provided around a decommissioned megaship. We'll also cover some situational information about weaponry and target tracking. And yes, you'll get to shoot those weapons you saw earlier. Astronomical bodies have a gravitational effect on the FSD, reducing your ship's speed. The closer the body, the greater the effect.
That's cool. Gravity. I like it. Oh, jeez.
The frameshift drive is disengaged. Welcome to the combat zone. Before you start shooting, however, try analyzing the megaship with a data link scanner. Well done. It's often worth scanning objects you're unfamiliar with to learn more about them. Next, you need to activate your weapons by cycling to a different fire group.
Okay, so you press N.
You'll
Change
notice that your
weapons.
weapons are now listed on your HUD. Fire groups allow you to manage your hardpoints efficiently.
It's really walking me
Let's
through
begin
this
the
well.
combat evaluation. Destroy several of the canisters.
See, I want to turn, and
All weapons have an effective range, so you
Can't.
may need to move closer here. Try targeting the canister you're aiming at. Your ship has 2 weapons installed. Make sure you use both your primary and secondary triggers. Thrusters are particularly useful for navigating around large structures. Why not give them a try? Your cannon will automatically reload until the ammunition supply runs out. Meanwhile, your laser will fire until the capacitor is depleted, at which point it will need to recharge.
see, I don't want to fly around because I don't feel like I have good control. I mean, you're dividing pan with rotate here. It just doesn't make sense. Also, I mean, the sound is good, but you just give it a little throttle and it just sounds like you floored it. It's like you're taking off.
Quota achieved. Let's dial up the challenge a notch, shall we?
Weapons are just disabled.
An unmanned craft has arrived nearby. These drones are used by the Pilots Federation as target practice, and they're quite harmless. To continue, bring the craft into your sights and open fire.
Oh my god. Okay.
I recommend targeting your opponent during combat. Notice how your reticules
Okay.
move towards your target. Your ship's gimbaled weapons offer a degree of aiming assistance.
Just so lame. I can't even hit this. I'm sure there's a way to just match your target speed. That'd be nice.
Target destroyed.
Nice work. You may have noticed that multi-cannons are effective against unshielded targets. Another craft has arrived. This one is fitted with a shield generator. Helpfully, your burst laser is a thermal weapon, which excels at stripping away a target's shields.
Clever, he's trying to get me to crash into the station.
Target shields offline.
totally lost him. I am ineffective at combat. Where the hell did he go? There he is. Thanks for flying back in front of me, bud.
Target destroyed.
Consider me impressed. Your final target has dropped into the area. This time your opponent will fight back, but its damage capability has been greatly reduced. Your target will not react until it registers shield damage. Engage when ready.
So he's 1.4 kilometers away. Man, this distance is elusive.
Target shields offline. Target destroyed.
That was the last target. Even if you're planning on a peaceful career, understanding the basics of combat is vital for a pilot's long-term survival. For advanced combat information, you should refer to the pilot's handbook, which we'll cover in more detail soon. The next step of your evaluation involves a hyperspace jump to a neighboring star system. On this occasion, your ship's computer has selected your destination for you. We'll cover selecting destinations manually soon. The mass lock indicator on the bottom right of the dashboard is active. This means a large object is in close proximity, preventing you from engaging the FSD. To resolve this, throttle up to move a safe distance away from the megaship. Remember, you can boost to temporarily increase your ship's speed. The mass lock indicator has gone out. When you are ready to travel light years in seconds, engage the FSD.
It says 7 light years away. So even at light speed, it's 7 years.
Frameshift drive charging.
I must be reading that wrong. They're not going to make it take 7 years at light speed.
3, 2.
Okay. I guess it was 7 light years.
Technology has made the task of leaping between star systems appear trivial. Never let this simplicity distract from the marvel humanity has achieved. Your next stop is Quello Station. This time we'll employ the Supercruise Assist module to guide your approach. Open the external interface panel to your left and select the Navigation tab.
Okay, so you
Highlight the
press 1
starport in
to
the
get to
location
this.
list, and then select Supercruise Assist. It's the second option.
I'm going to spin in circles until...
If you're lost, exit the external panel and start over. You can take your time to familiarize yourself with the panel controls.
Okay, so I guess this is Super Cruise Assist, block destination, and system map.
With the destination selected, throttle up and aim towards your target. The compass to the left of the sensor display will help you orient yourself. Good. Your ship is now bound for Quello Station. Let's take a moment to review the interface panels either side of your chair. The external panel is primarily used to interact with the galaxy around you. For example, you can access maps, display contracts, and review nearby objects. Meanwhile, the internal panel displays information about you and your ship. You can adjust module functions, check your records, and access the codex, among other things. New pilots often wonder what their first step into the galaxy should be. The pilot's handbook is a great source of help in this regard. It details a variety of professions and how to outfit your ship for them. The handbook also offers advice on various ship functions that aren't covered in this evaluation.
What are these
You can
light
find
things
the pilot
flying
handbook
around?
in the codex, accessible on the home screen via the internal interface panel. The trails moving around you are FSD wakes. Your ship is also emitting one. The position of each correlates with their respective sensor display icons. In a moment, we'll be going through the docking process. This will cover docking permissions and a standard landing pad approach.
I'm glad I asked that question. Right after I asked what those light things were, he answered it.
Welcome to Quello Station. This is the final stretch. You'll dock here shortly, but I'd like you to position your ship near the starport's access corridor first. Starports are the backbone of humanity's operations throughout inhabited space. They provide mission boards, the commodities market, a number of specialized contacts, and various ship facilities. Most pilot business is conducted via the Starport Services interface. I recommend familiarizing yourself with this screen when docked. Good. Ease off the throttle and hold position here. Oh, and try not to block the access corridor. We'll be using the docking computer for this landing. You can always dock manually in future, of course, but practice in a training simulation first. Whichever method you use, all ships must seek docking permission before approaching a landing pad. To request docking permission, open your external interface panel and select the Contacts tab. Then select Quello Station in the list, followed by Request Docking in the Information panel.
Not going to walk me through that one. Okay, so press 1. Select the Contacts tab with Q. Q and E
If you're
cycle
having issues
around there.
locating the Request Docking command, exit the interface panel and review your objectives.
Docking permission authorized. Docking assist has been engaged.
You've been assigned Landing Pad 3. The compass will point towards your designated pad. Ships need to be within 7.5 kilometers of a starport for a docking request to be considered.
Nice touch with the music. So I guess down on the bottom right I got my fuel. I'm not sure what H is, but I got 0.56 H. And it looks like that's about 3/4 of a tank. Don't know what mass locked means or landing. Well, I don't know how to engage my landing gear. Cargo scoop. Yeah, don't understand that. Systems, engines, weapons. Not sure what RST means.
The docking computer will now demonstrate a safe landing procedure. Let's review what it's doing. Landing gear must be deployed. The related dashboard indicator lights up if this has been done.
Landing gear deployed.
And there's a landing gear. But again, I don't know how to actually deploy it myself.
In a moment, the sensor display will switch to the precision approach display, which helps you accurately set belly down on the landing pad.
Docking procedure complete. Engaging pad restraints. Let's get your ship ready.
Congratulations, Commander. Your evaluation has been successful, and a license is being assigned to you as I speak. We just need to finalize your credentials.
They give anybody
Enter the
licenses these
hangar to
days.
exit this evaluation.
The final test. How do I enter the hangar to complete my assessment? Well, go to hangar.
It's time to blaze your own trail across the galaxy. The manner in which you do so is up to you.
Well, that's pretty imaginative. Oh, And now you get to pick a commander name that is permanent and cannot be changed. Really hoping nobody's taken Shrack yet. So I'm gonna take Shrack. Okay, continue. So I don't know the difference between this. Planetary Ops and All-Rounder, different loadouts. Basically it's all the same except for the planetary one is a Sidewinder kitted out for surface operations with a 2-ton cargo hold, a vehicle bay equipped with an SRV, which sounds like a surface rover vehicle or I don't know what, and a planetary approach suite, which that sounds like software. If I go back to this one, stock Sidewinder. The cargo capacity is 2 tons, hold mass 25 tons. Hold mass stays the same. Cargo capacity is actually larger for the stock Sidewinder. So I'm guessing the vehicle bay takes up some of the cargo capacity here. Armor 60, shields 40, and that's the same. Range unladen is 8.15. So I'm guessing because this one has all this extra stuff, it's a shorter range. Laden, I guess that would be the gross vehicle weight anyway, so that would probably be the same between the two. 7.29 light years, that's 7.25. Boost speed 322, top speed 221. So the new commander, All-Rounder's got twice the cargo capacity. It's got more range, laden and unladen. I'm sorry, it's got less laden range. Did I read that right? Yeah, 7.29, 7.75 unladen, 8.15 laden. Okay, so yeah, it's got less laden range, but it's faster, top speed and boost speed. Do I want extra cargo capacity or do I want the ability to land on planets? I don't really know the difference. I think I'm going to start with the All-Rounder. Having a surface rover would be pretty cool, but you have half the cargo capacity. I don't know the benefit to going to the ground in this game. What's the benefit? You just get to wander around, look at stuff, drive around. I'm sure I can buy it later in the game, but hard decision. Ship really doesn't look that cool. It's not very imaginative. Guess these are the hard points where the guns come out of. Boosters for control. That's where I'm sitting. Are these louvers or vents? I'm not sure what those are. These lights, maybe? I'm not very creative when it comes to naming stuff. I know. I'm gonna name it after my dog, Lara. And I guess there's an ID plate. Do I just make up an ID? 6 digits long. That's 6 digits. Alright, and that's how you create a new profile.
Welcome to your new ship, Commander.
Quello Station.
Your Pilot's Federation license has been issued, and you're free to traverse the galaxy as an independent pilot. Before launching for the first time, allow me to quickly introduce the basic interface for mission contracts. Almost all pilots will use the mission board at some stage. A contract has been assigned to you. Active missions are displayed in the Transactions tab of the external interface panel. This time you'll need to travel to Mawson Dock in the Dromi system. You can select these destinations at the navigation screen of the external interface panel. If you'd like to practice your journey first, I recommend the training simulations accessed via the internal interface panel. To review what we've discussed, select your comms panel and scroll through the recorded text. I'll contact you at Mawson Dock if you decide to complete this mission. If you choose to take a different path, then I wish you luck, Commander.
So 1 gets me to the side menu. 2 gets me up to here. 3 down into the middle. There's not one for the top right, so 4 gets me to the right. We'll call it dashboard. The right dashboard. So I'm in Lara. My plate name is Shrack, and my commander name is Shrack. A plate, I guess, is like a license plate of a car. I don't really know. Is it prominently displayed somewhere on my ship? Going back to 1 here. Again, I do like this kind of yellowish menu with the lines. You can see it's kind of that old school feel. Some of the internal cockpit textures are a little lackluster. The text here on this pipe, you can tell it's a 5-year-old game a little bit here and there. The air vents aren't really round or smoothed out very much. But you know, I feel like this game it's one of those games that is a good game despite the graphics. It's got the good bones, it's got good roots. It's fun to play, is what I'm trying to say. And a good game that's fun to play, it doesn't matter what the graphics really look like. This game has pretty good graphics anyway. But again, it's 5 years old. These are pretty good graphics. The sound design too. I'm really liking the sound design. Sometimes it's a little overboard when you just want to tap the accelerator, just notch it up a little bit, and then it just sounds like it's spooling up a jet engine. It's a little overkill there, but the rest of the sound design is really good. When you hear ships flying by or you're whizzing around different objects. Now I haven't even played on a planet yet, but I'm liking so far the sound design. That's probably my favorite part of this game so far. First impressions, I like the sound design. That being said, throughout the whole first tutorial, you can't see it, but my frame counter is showing 144, 145 frames this whole time. And I know I'm running a 1080 Ti on a pretty old computer. Actually, it's a 5-year-old computer. I built it myself, but I'm running a 1080 Ti with 16 gigs of RAM. The RAM is not the fastest RAM you can have, and all my components are pretty much, minus the graphics card, 10 years old. I do have a solid state this is not installed on the solid state. That being said, it's a well-refined game because I'm at the highest settings you can get for graphics in this game, and I'm topping out my frames. I haven't checked to see what temperature my computer's running at. It is showing red, which shows that it's running warm, but it seems to be running pretty efficiently if I'm getting 144 frames that whole time. You know, this looks like a very promising game. It's going to be a lot of fun to play, and you'll be along for the journey. So now I'm going to go do some stuff. I'm going to have fun. I'm going to learn the game a little bit more. Back to you with a little more thorough review here, and rather than just first impression review, come back to you with a little bit more in depth, a little bit more how to play. I'm going to refine some of the controls here because those controls are killing me right now. Thanks for watching. I'm Shrack. I'll see you next time.